Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Goal MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. And before we get into the action here tonight, um, just like how last night we honored Billy Packer, unfortunately tonight we have to do the same thing. Start out with a tribute and remembrance. Um, I believe we did one about a couple of weeks ago. With actually, we did about almost a week ago, as we were honoring Jay Briscoe, and now this week we have to do it again, and this time we're doing it for the Genius. Yeah. Last night or yesterday afternoon, word got out from social media, from actually of all people, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, of all people, went on social media and stated that one of his longtime friends, the Genius, formerly of WWE, oddly enough, the brother of legendary Macho Man Randy Savage, had passed away. Obviously, this was a horrible announcement. And it was very shocking, to say the very least. Lenny Poffo, the Genius, passed away on Groundhog Day yesterday. Like we said, it was actually a shocking turn of events. But it is being reported that it was heart failure. This is coming from Uncle Dave Meltzer, and yeah, and the Genius passed away. Shock. It was, like I said, it was a shock to us all. I don't think any of us saw this coming. It was kind of more of a down in the underground type of an announcement. He never really had much success in WWE or WWF, I should say. Never won a title, never had any, I don't want to say legendary moments, but he was part of a very good tandem as he teamed up and was the manager of one time of Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. And we all know that his legacy with Hennig and him were pretty legendary and a really good combination. And I know a lot of people remembers him for his very well done, very inspirational and powerful and emotional speech he did to tribute Macho Man Randy Savage when he got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. An accolade that I know, honestly, none of us thought was ever going to happen. But he did, and Lenny Poffo did an unbelievable job eulogizing the Macho Man in his Hall of Fame induction speech. And now we get the unfortunate news that at the age of 68 years old, Lenny Poffo, a.k.a. the Genius, passing away due to heart failure. This was reported again yesterday. And like I said, the source is from none other than Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He was the one that reported it on his on many multiple websites. I think I found it on Instagram, was where I found out the news that Lenny had passed away. So it is tough whenever we do these type of announcements. It's always tough when somebody passes away. But for someone that we know from our generation passing away, it's equally tough. So our thoughts and prayers are with the Poffo family. And with that said, I toss it over to Anthony Florio. So, Anthony, um, Lenny Poffo, aka the Genius, passing away shockingly at the age of 68 yesterday.
Indeed, and I was the one who reported it. I sent it in our Talking Wrestling TXN News and Views messenger chat, and it's another one of these out of nowhere deaths. I mean, when you think about it, I didn't even know there was anything wrong with him. I really didn't, because we hadn't really heard of anything. The last that I know, he was actually living in Ecuador, and I know that's where he was living nowadays. And believe it or not, guys, he was actually born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The hometown of the Hart family. And the thing was, of course, we all know the Poffo family. Angelo Poffo, the father, and of course the Macho Man Randy Savage and his legendary Hall of Fame career, and now Lanny Poffo, the Genius, who made his in-ring debut on April 16th, 1974, out in a promotion called All South Wrestling Alliance, and it was the very first match of that card. He lost to a gentleman named Wayne Cohen, and he was trained by his father, and he and Macho had some moments in other promotions, but the three of us best remember him from his time in the World Wrestling Federation. And he was actually a babyface at first. He was known as Leaping Lanny Poffo. He was doing the poetry, but he wrote his poetry down on frisbees, and he used to toss frisbees into the crowd. And he was actually on. Go back and watch it on Peacock. He was actually featured on the debut episode, the premiere episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, or one of the early episodes of Saturday Night's Main Event. I think it was the second episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. He was a part of that infamous Uncle Elmer wedding with Joyce, as we all know. And he recited a poem on that. And he also competed in one of the greatest battle royals of all time on Saturday Night's Main Event, March of '87, just 2 weeks before WrestleMania 3. That ended up being won, I believe, by Andre the Giant. And Andre messed him up very badly. Headbutted him. He bled heavily all over the floor, and he had to be carried out on a stretcher. And that was Andre's first match as a heel. And he headbutted him on the bridge of his nose, and stitches were required to close that resulting wound. But he wrestled as a face for a good 4 years or so. And then it was about 2 weeks or so before WrestleMania 5 where he turned heel. And he did it at a house show, March 18th of '89. And in all places, it happened in the old Boston Garden. He berated all the Boston sports teams, insulting them in his poetry, drew instant heat from the crowd, and then reintroduced as the Genius. And, of course, not only did he team with Mr. Perfect MF, let's also not forget, he was also the manager of the Beverly Brothers in the 90s, as we all know. And took him to a tag team championship match against the Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon, at the 1992 SummerSlam at Wembley Stadium in London, as we all know. They didn't win the titles, but at least he could say he had a brush with that. But he may not have had any big-time success in WWE, but he does have one small claim to fame, guys. It was on the November 25th, 1989 edition of Saturday Night's Main Event. And even though it was via a countout, he's one of very few people who can say, I defeated Hulk Hogan in a match. He won the match via a countout, and it was without a doubt the biggest match of it, the biggest win of his entire wrestling career, bigger than any championship he won in any other promotion. But any man who can say, "Hey, I beat Hulk Hogan," you did something, even though it was a count out and he did have a little help from Mr. Perfect, but it is what it is. But yeah, he worked the independent circuits. He did work some independent promotions, and like MF said, gave that beautiful eulogy and speech at the Hall of Fame induction for the Macho Man Randy Savage. You know, Hulk Hogan was the inductor. Lanny accepted on his behalf, and yeah, he passed away due to heart failure yesterday. He didn't. When it comes to his accomplishments, he won the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling International Heavyweight Championship, was an NWA Gulf Coast Tag Team Champion with his brother, the Macho Man Randy Savage, was a GNW Great North Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, International Championship Wrestling. Now, that's a promotion that was the Poffo family. I mean, Angelo Poffo started it, Macho Man and Lanny, you know, were the big fish in that pond, as we all know. And that was, I would say that was probably where he had his most success, because he was a ICW Southeastern Heavyweight Champion, 4-time co-holder of the ICW United States Tag Team Championship, 3 times with George Weingeroff, and 1 other time with Mike Doggendorf, and was a 3-time ICW Heavyweight Champion, a 2-time co-holder of the NWA World Tag Team Championship Detroit version. One of those was actually with his father, Angelo Poffo, and the other was with Chris Colt. NWA Mid-America was the NWA Mid-America Heavyweight Champion on 1 occasion, and was also a co-holder of the Mid-America Tag Team Championships with another late great, beautiful Bobby Eaton. And Pro Wrestling Lachine was a PWL International Champion on 1 occasion. PWI ranked him number 229 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 1991. And then in that legendary PWI years issue in 2003, he came in at number 426 of the top 500 singles wrestlers. Now, he may not have had, you know, big time success, but those couple of times he can say, "Hey, I beat Hulk Hogan." Yes, it may have been by count out, but hey, you beat Hulk Hogan on national television. November 25th, 1989, Saturday night's main event, Thanksgiving weekend, 2 days after the Survivor Series in Topeka, Kansas. That was taped on Halloween Day. So Halloween, yeah, obviously some hocus pocus there on Halloween, but still, what I will best remember about Lanny Poffo, the genius, or Leapin' Lanny, was the poetry. And he spoke with such an eloquent voice. He was such an eloquent speaker. I mean, he was so good on the mic. I mean, that's what really got him over. And those poems, you know, whether they were as Leapin' Lanny or as the genius, I mean, especially as the genius, I mean, those were very well done. Gained that instant heel heat. I mean, Survivor Series 89, obviously, they gave him a few minutes to cut a poem during downtime there, and then of course, you know, he did have a little bit of some success with the Beverly Brothers, like I said, when he became their manager around 92. You know, that little moment with Jameson at the Royal Rumble, the run-ins with Jameson and the Bushwhackers. And but of course, the big moment with the Beverlys was, of course, when they unsuccessfully challenged the Natural Disasters for the WWF Tag Team titles, SummerSlam '92 at Wembley. But nonetheless, may not have been a big success, but he definitely had an impact on all of us. And, you know, we remember him from our childhoods, and, you know, he's sorely going to be missed, and he's going to be right up there now. He's on his way up there with his brother and his father. and they're probably going to start a promotion up there in heaven, I'm sure. So with that, my thoughts and prayers and condolences, not just mine, but MF, Bullock, and all of us as part of Talking Wrestling TXN. We send our thoughts, prayers, and condolences to the Poffo family, to all of Lanny's friends, and of course, everyone that was fortunate and blessed enough to work with him. And, as we always like to say, to Lanny Poffo, we simply say, thank you for the memories. Thank you for the inspiration. But most of all, thank you for Lanny Poffo. Leaping Lanny Poffo, the genius, but Lanny Poffo all together. Rest in peace and Godspeed. There isn't much more for me to add. So, Michael Bullock, first off, another one of our legendary SmackDown chats. Come on in. Lanny Poffo, better known as the genius and leaping Lanny Poffo, passing away at the age of 68 years old, younger brother of the Macho Man Randy Savage. And he may not have been a big success. He may not have been a mega success, but still, he was definitely a household name, especially because of the poetry. But hey, anytime you can beat Hulk Hogan, whether it's by count or any means, you definitely did something.
Yeah, anytime you beat Hulk Hogan, yes, it may have been in a different way, but you do it. That's definitely doing something. But yeah, I mean, I mostly will remember, of course, Lanny Poffo, of course, when he, of course, was the genius. I mean, him and his poetry. I mean, and of course, he managed so many people, including Mr. Perfect, of course, the Beverly Brothers. I mean, yeah, and of course when he gave that speech at the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies when he was inducting his brother, the Macho Man Randy Savage, into the WWE Hall of Fame, and yeah, I mean, there were a lot of great moments. I mean, and of course, another one where he got a haircut, obviously, from Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Of course, had some of those great rivalries with him. Of course, leading up to the match at WrestleMania 6 between Brutus the Barber and Mr. Perfect. So, yeah, he was definitely a fun guy, and yeah, and definitely our thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to the Poffo family and to all those who knew him very, very well. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. I mean, rest in peace, Lanny Poffo, the genius. So there's really nothing more to say except let's get into Friday Night SmackDown.
All right, and we definitely will indeed do that right now. So we're going to start it off with Friday Night SmackDown, and we started it off with the first fight of the night, the final of the tournament that determined the number one contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Winners will get a shot next week, as it pertains, as it was Ricochet and Braun Strowman going up against the team of Imperium. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the match in 15 minutes and 3 seconds, the number one contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, Ricochet and Braun Strowman, winning it all. Solid opener. Actually, a damn good match. Enjoyable fight. I'm going to say this. This was actually, I got to say, one of the fights of the night, maybe the fight of the night. This was an excellent tag team battle. Early on, Gunther got himself thrown out of the fight. Kind of meddled around a little too much and paid for it. But after the Gunther getting thrown out, this ended up being a hell of a main event, a hell of a main event level match. So I got really nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, this was at least 3.5 to 4. So it's yours.
Agreed. It is within that 3.5 to 4-star range. This to me was the fight of the night, if I'm going to be honest with you. We have witnessed on multiple occasions the in-ring chemistry these two teams have, so it was no real surprise that they kicked off tonight's show with a banger of a tournament final. The action was strong, and the storytelling, which saw Imperium destruct without the presence of Gunther to guide them, helped set this apart from their previous encounters. There is an argument to be made that Imperium winning, then defeating the Usos for the tag titles and seizing control of the Blue Brand was a better story than the thrown together babyface team potentially dethroning Jimmy and Jay. With that said, WWE rarely likes to run with the heel versus heel matchup, so this was probably the more predictable outcome, if nothing else. Kudos to Ludwig Kaiser, who has flown under the radar as one of the really solid hands in WWE. He is consistently good, even when standing just outside the spotlight. He's got a bright future with the company as a top heel if he can maximize his opportunities. Michael Cole acknowledging Gunther's legendary performance in the Royal Rumble, really putting over the Ring General for his endurance and greatness over his 71-minute performance. Giovanni Vinci leaped off the top rope, wiping Braun Strowman out to earn Imperium the upper hand, entering the first commercial of the night. Braun Strowman launched Ricochet over the top rope and onto Vinci and Kaiser. Gunther shoved Ricochet, prompting the official to boot the referee, Ryan Tran, to eject the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion from the ringside area. And then Braun Strowman pulled Giovanni Vinci out of the ring, saving Ricochet and giving his team a chance to win the match. Very good match. This was the fight of the night for me. This was easily, like MF said, within that 3.5 to 4-star range. And, these guys just keep getting better. And, Imperium just keeps getting better, even though they may have lost tonight. But, they're definitely going to be one to watch in the tag division. And then, of course, the big news that came out the other day regarding the rumor, and then that big rumor that came out about possibly at WrestleMania, Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre, triple threat for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Sign us up, please. That's all I can say, because let's be realistic. That's a show stealer waiting to happen if they do it. The higher ups want it. They damn sure better do it. That's all I'm saying. So, but story for another day. But 3.5 to 4 stars. Fight of the night. Great start. So, not much more for me to say. Michael Bullock, I mean, boy, oh boy, we definitely had a lot of fun with this match during our SmackDown chat tonight. And Braun Strowman and Ricochet get the opportunity of a lifetime next Friday night at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut, when they challenge the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, this is a 3.5 to 4 match, 4-star match here. I mean, this was definitely the fight of the night. I mean, this match really got good, especially once Gunther got ejected for interjecting himself into the match here. And yeah, like you said, Ludwig Kaiser. I mean, he continues to get better and better. Every single day. And I'll tell you, somewhere down the line, I think Kaiser and Vinci will get a shot at the tag titles. But right now, it's Braun Strowman and Ricochet who are going to get the shot. And of course, the question obviously is, what is the mind of the Usos, especially with all the drama that happened after the implosion? So we'll find out and it was announced that the SmackDown tag team titles will go down next week on Friday Night SmackDown. So Strowman and Ricochet, they get the opportunity next week. So we'll see what happens, and we'll have to keep an eye on the situation with the Usos. So nothing more to say. It's your Sledge.
All right. Yeah. With that said, we do indeed move on. And next up, we did have was a the women's title fight. It was Charlotte Flair versus Sonya Deville, winner of the bout in 10 minutes, and still the SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Solid 3 stars, maybe even 3.25. I'll go as far as to call this the sleeper fight of the night. I mean, I really didn't think much was going to come about this. I mean, yes, the outcome was predictable. I mean, we all knew Charlotte was going to retain, especially with the big WrestleMania match coming up against Rhea Ripley. But Charlotte retains, and to do so, she had to fight from underneath, overcoming an onslaught from a challenger hell-bent on making the most of a second chance. Sonya Deville looked as usual like a star here. A solid in-ring competitor. She knows she is a heel and carries herself as such. Sonya has a huge personality that leaps off the screen every chance she gets to display it. It is for that reason that she has been able to establish herself as one of the most detestable heels on the roster, whether in the role of self-serving WWE official or entitled wrestler. Charlotte, with her typical great self, and the commentary team did a good job of putting over her WrestleMania match with Royal Rumble winner Rhea Ripley, which should be a defining moment in the career of the heel, Rhea Ripley. And Sonya Deville grabbed Charlotte Flair by the hair, pulled her to the mat, seizing control as they went to break. The challenger nearly stole a win using the ropes for added leverage. And then Charlotte countered a sunset flip into the figure 8. Sonya tapped out. 3 to 3.25 stars. Sleeper fight of the night. Like I said, I didn't really think much of anything going into this. But it ended up being a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So, but then again, Charlotte Flair can make anybody look good in a match. So, not much more to say. 3.25. Michael Bullock, color us surprised. I mean, well, at least me anyway. I didn't think this was going to be anything really any good, but boy, was I pleasantly surprised tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised too. I mean, because we thought that this match wasn't going to be anything like that good, but it turned out much better than expected. But like you said, I mean, look who Sonya Deville was in there with, Charlotte Flair. She can make anybody look good here. So, yeah, this is a nice win for Charlotte, especially now that she knows she's going to be defending the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania against Rhea Ripley. So it gives her a little bit of momentum here. So, but she's still got a long road to go before she gets to Rhea at WrestleMania. So 3 stars for me. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, like you said, 3 stars, solid match, great battle, and again, hats off to Sonya Deville, making it a competitive matchup. I know a lot of people are kind of in the mix about either, but this was a pretty good matchup to say the very least. So next up we had was the Viking Raiders versus the Brawling Brutes, and the winner of the bout in roughly 10 minutes was the Viking Raiders. But after the match was over, let's just say, I guess you can call them the Brawling Bros. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre showed up, and let's just say that we had a brouhaha after that. So, yeah, really nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
I'll give this about maybe a 3.25, maybe teetering on 3.5. I mean, this was another solid match here. I mean, then again, look who you got in there. You got the Brawling Brutes of Ridge Holland and Butch against the Viking Raiders. You knew this had a chance to be a man fight here, and the Brutes gave them all they can handle, but the Viking Raiders, they come out on top. But yeah, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus are back, and let's just say that they're pissed off because who knows, they could have been the ones to challenge for the SmackDown tag team titles, but thanks to the Viking Raiders, they cost them a chance at it. So yeah, there's a match coming down the line for these two. Maybe I could see this possibly happening at Elimination Chamber, but we'll wait and see. So nothing more to say. it is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Another three and a quarter stars for me. This could have gone a number of ways, but I really thought they did a really good job with it. So yeah, really nothing more to add here. And Anthony, it's yours.
The match was fine for what it was. The talent was there to ensure that even though it was a match designed to enhance the heels, it would still be competitive and mostly good. The Viking Raiders still need a win or two to convince the audience that they stand a chance in hell of beating two former WWE champions in Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. But Triple H and company have done a solid job of presenting the team as a genuine threat in the tag team division. A second kudos on this night goes to Ridge Holland, who has worked hard to improve his in-ring game and is in arguably the best shape of his career. He was good here, never looking out of place while sharing the ring with veteran opponents. Pairing him with Sheamus and Butch may have been one of the best booking decisions of the last regime's final year. Butch paid homage to Sheamus, delivering 10 beats of the Baron to Eric. Ivar unloaded a barrage of back elbows to Holland in the corner, only for a tag to Butch to halt his momentum. Eric turned Butch inside out with a lariat clothesline. Viking Raiders stared down at Valhalla before delivering the Ragnarok, almost as if they were awaiting her blessing to earn the win. And then McIntyre and Sheamus attacked the victors and stood tall on the stage after the match. A rematch definitely possible. We just don't know when it will be. It could be on a future SmackDown. It may even be on a it may even be at the Elimination Chamber. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see how they decide to do it. But there will definitely be a rematch with those two teams at the earliest possible date. You can bet on that. So 3 and a quarter. I'm with MF on this rating. So not much more to say except MF. We had ourselves up next a women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match from the SmackDown side. Because remember, this women's chamber match coming up, it's not exclusive to Raw. It's not exclusive to SmackDown. It's a cross-branded chamber match. And whoever wins, regardless of brand affiliation, will challenge Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. And tonight, another SmackDown representative found her way into the match. So, MF, hit us up with it.
Yeah, it was a match, and it was we had Zelina Vega, we had Shotzi, we had Shayna Baszler, we had Natalya, and it was Natalya winning the match in 6 minutes and 41 seconds. By default, it is indeed the worst fight of the night, but there wasn't anything wrong with the match. There was nothing bad at all about it. What happened here was it was mainly because of the fact that it was mainly the match itself. There was nothing wrong with it. It was just that it was a great battle. It was a solid fight. The match just didn't last very long, but I'm not gonna poo-poo too much on that. This was 2.5 stars, and once again, Natalya winning. She's pretty much the veteran, the veteran of this matchup, and to give her the opportunity, I'll say about 2.5 stars. I really got nothing wrong to say about it. I thought they did a really good job with it. So, with that said, Anthony Floyo, it is yours. 2.5 stars. By default, it was the worst fight of the night, but there wasn't really anything bad about the match. But Natalya wins. That means she gets the golden ticket. She gets to represent. She'll be representing SmackDown in that Elimination Chamber match, as you were alluding to.
All right. I got to throw in a little bit of some constructive criticism here. The three competitors, all three other competitors in this match, Zelina Vega, Shayna Baszler, even Shotzi, with all due respect, I kind of felt they were better options than Natalya to win this one. But, the fact that, she is, a part of the Hart family and from Canada, made her inclusion in this year's chamber event sensible, if nothing else. And I can understand. Still think about what it would have meant for Shotzi or Zelina Vega to get the nod here and have the opportunity to build their in-ring successes inside one of the company's most popular gimmick bouts. As it is, Natalya gets a shot to earn a championship opportunity, and I gotta be, the man who tells it like it is. A shot, she stands next to no chance of actually winning. But I think the real, and I told Bullock this during our SmackDown chat. I think the real reason why Natalya's in this match is to serve as the utility veteran. That's what it is. Serve as, the utility veteran, because that's what her role basically is nowadays. So, but anywho, solid match for what it was. 2.5 stars. Michael Cole reminded fans that Shayna Baszler had previous experience in the Elimination Chamber, having defeated every single one of her opponents in the 2020 match, which was the main event of that show. The only woman to ever accomplish that feat. And Shayna rocked Natalya with the knee to the face that broke the Queen of Hearts' nose. And Shotzi delivered a low tope suicida to Shayna Baszler and Zelina Vega, followed up with a moonsault to both women. So, by default, it was the worst fight of the night, even though it wasn't all that bad. But nonetheless, I will give Natalya the credit where it's due. Big win for her. It's obvious they're using her as the utility veteran for this match. I think that's the only reason why they gave her the nod here, even though, with all due respect, the other three I felt would have been better options, especially Zelina Vega and Shotzi. But it is what it is. So I'm not gonna poo-poo on this overly. So with all that, solid 2.5 stars. By default, the worst fight of the night. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, Natalya on her way to that women's elimination chamber match in Montreal in 2 weeks.
Yeah, she's on her way to Montreal, her home country of Canada, to be in that women's elimination chamber to see who will face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. So, yeah, I'll give this about 2.5 stars. I mean, by default, this was the worst fight of the night, even though it's not all that bad. I mean, it definitely could have been better, but I'm not going to really poo-poo all over this one as well. So, yeah, there's nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch. Oh, and I think we lost. We lost Fletch there.
I'm sure he might have hit the wrong button. Okay, there he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Obviously, he hit the wrong button. So
yeah, I'm still working off. You got to forgive me, guys, because of the fact that I'm still working off my little cell phone. So I'm still kind of trying to get the right thing. I want mic and I hit the back button and it kicked me right out. All right, my bad. Main event: Roman Reigns cutting a promo, interrupted by Sami Zayn. He jumps Roman. But before you did anything, Sami challenges Roman for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. But before you can get any type of answer, he got jumped by Jimmy Uso, by Solo Sikoa, and then Roman said, you know what? You're on, and we're going to do it in Montreal at the Elimination Chamber. Anthony Floyo, this has been the best storyline on WWE television, the best storyline for SmackDown right now, and now it's going to take even a bigger moment. Sami getting the title shot in his own hometown of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It's all yours.
And I'm glad it is because, I'm going to once again be the man who tells it like it is. But when I say that, I'm actually about to do something, and I actually mean this in a good way for a change. Let's get the obvious out of the way. This was obviously hands down the segment of the night. When a storyline hits as frequently as this one has, you find yourself waiting for a misstep that halts the momentum and causes a setback. But it just has not happened yet at this point. Every segment, it has been a great one, especially over the last month, and tonight no exception. Roman Reigns is perfect in this role, manipulating every situation to his favor, while Sami Zayn looked a lot like the fiery babyface that fans fell in love with back in NXT. Remember the underdog of the underground? He's back. Their chemistry is off the charts, and the added element of Jey Uso's allegiances has helped enhance the program. Roman Reigns vowing to break Sami Zayn in front of his family in Montreal adds a certain level of levity to the upcoming Undisputed Championship match, commanding views for what will be, in my honest opinion, the hottest championship match WWE has produced in years. This is nothing short of wrestling perfection. And one day, we are going to look back on it as one of the truly great WWE programs of all time. Right up there with the Mega Powers when they exploded. Oh, by the way, that was 34 years ago tonight to the day on that legendary main event in Milwaukee. Right up there with the Mega Powers exploding. Bret and Owen, the Hart Brother rivalry, and Stone Cold Steve Austin rebelling against Vince McMahon. Where do I even start with this? Roman Reigns, he said, you know what I saw? I saw greed. I saw the same thing I see in every single person I interact with these days. Michael Cole on commentary, as well as good old MF Michael Fletcher. MF, Michael Cole took a page out of yours and Monsoon's playbook when he simply said, this place has come unglued. Come on, MF, I heard you say that. Michael Cole exclaimed it, and MF exclaimed it as a fired-up Sami Zayn stood tall in the center of the ring. Sami warned Roman, you're wrong about me. I never wanted anything from you until now. I want something from you now, and I'm going to take it because I'm coming after you and the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. The fans chanted, we want Jay, we want Jay. And then Reigns said, they want Jay, but I don't have Jay because you broke up my bloodline. And then Roman said, you broke up my family. Now I want to break you in front of yours. Issuing the challenge for the Elimination Chamber, which has now been made official. So, and I broke it, courtesy of social media. I sent it in the messenger chat. Boys, we got our main event for the Elimination Chamber. I mean, we're already excited about both chamber matches because we know the chamber matches. We know they're going to be bangers. But I'm gonna be open and honest about this. When it comes to this match right here, and I know you guys are going to agree with me on this when I say it, if it goes the way I think it does, and I think it will, I think we could be looking at an early 2023 match of the year candidate. I got a great feeling about this match. I think Roman's going to survive. I think Sami's going to push Roman harder than any other Roman opponent has pushed him to this point. I mean, he's gotten a lot of fits from the likes of Kevin Owens and Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Edge, John Cena, Finn Balor. Hell, even Logan Paul took him to his limits. That's saying something. And of course, when it comes to Roman's epic reign, all those guys have pushed him. But the one who I think pushed him the hardest at this point and gave him the most fits to this point was Drew McIntyre, back in September at Clash at the Castle. Drew was the one who took the Tribal Chief to the limit and then some in Cardiff. But come Montreal in 2 weeks, guys, I think Sami is going to give Roman the fight of his life. Sami's going to get an insane amount of hope spots. Now, I know there's going to be some people that are going to be hoping for the Eddie Guerrero miracle, because could there be a possibility that we see Eddie Guerrero 2.0 here? Could we see what could Sami do to Roman what Eddie Guerrero did to Brock Lesnar at No Way Out 2004? Maybe, but in all honesty, there's a small part of me that kind of actually wants to see it, because if Sami wins the titles in his hometown, the roof's going to come off.
Oh my God.
The roof's going to come off. Roof's going to come off. MF, it's going to be like the Montreal Canadiens won a Stanley Cup in there, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine, what is that Bell Center going to do? What is that pop going to be like if, God forbid, Sami Zayn does the unthinkable and wins the titles?
I mean, it will be probably the greatest moment in wrestling. I mean, if you want to talk about largest pops or greatest pops ever, I think I think for a hometown guy, I think you got to go back all the way. I think you got to go all the way back to British Bulldog when he beat Bret Hart in the 1992 SummerSlam at Wembley in front of 80,000. And you remember that pop when Joey Morella got the 1, 2, 3.
Indeed.
You remember how loud that it sounded like when that was like a Man United, or that was like any type of soccer moment, or when the women's English squad won the Euro, when Great Britain's women, the Lionesses won the European Championship. Last summer they won the European Championship, and they're considered one of the favorites going into this upcoming Women's FIFA World Cup that's going down in New Zealand and Australia later this summer. Obviously, USA is the favorite, but but England is one of the favorites as well. And yeah, I remember that pop. I think you remember that pop. It was like one of the greatest moments in wrestling. And not only that, but the match itself was a 5-star classic, and many people considers it as one of the greatest intercontinental title matches in the history of the company, probably rivaling Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from WrestleMania 3.
Absolutely, man. I mean, and what about that pop was legendary, and that match, Bulldog and Bret, also the greatest in many people's eyes, including mine, the greatest match in SummerSlam history. And but another pop. What about CM Punk when CM Punk beat John Cena, Money in the Bank 2011?
Yes, I can go with that too. Yes.
Or there's been a lot of great hometown, a lot of great pops for world title wins. Not necessarily hometowns. I'll even throw in Kurt Angle when he had those 2 world title hometown wins in 2001 in his hometown of Pittsburgh, when he beat Booker T for the WCW, the big gold belt, on that first SmackDown after Invasion, July 2001. And then, of course, when he beat Stone Cold 2 months later in September at Unforgiven for the WWF title. Those were big pops for Kurt Angle when he won those. And but big pops, I mean, Eddie Guerrero when he beat Brock Lesnar in San Francisco. That was a big pop when he won in the Cow Palace. How about of course, I got to give you. I'll even throw in Chris Benoit, WrestleMania 20. I think Madison Square Garden popped when he won. Or what about Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 30 in the Superdome when he won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And maybe even Kofi Kingston, Kofi Mania, WrestleMania 35, when he became the WWE champion, beating the new Daniel Bryan. All of those, I mean, none of those, those pops were all great. But God forbid, Sami Zayn walks out of Montreal, his hometown, as the undisputed champion. Look out. My heart in my heart, I want to see it happen, but my gut, we got to go with the gut. The gut is telling us that the tribal chief will somehow find a way. And I think I'm going to make a bold prediction right here and right now. Forget 2 weeks from now when we preview this card, but I'll spare you 2 weeks. Bold prediction: Roman wins, and I think Jey Uso will be the ultimate difference maker. And that'll get Roman to Mania. And then Mania, that's when the tribal chief will finally fall at the hands of the American Nightmare. So that's just how I feel about it. So, but nonetheless, segment of the night, absolutely fantastic. Well done. So there isn't much more to say. Michael Bullock, we ate this up at the end of the show tonight during our SmackDown chat. And oh my goodness. Sami Zayn now has the opportunity of a lifetime, the biggest match of Sami's career, going against the tribal chief, the most dominant champion of the modern era, in his hometown of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, in 2 weeks. The biggest match of Sammy's career. He is not lame duck man anymore. He is now, once again, the underdog of the underground, just like he was in NXT when he won the NXT championship from Pac, Adrian Neville, at the R Revolution. So I don't know what else there is to say, except that match is going to be, oh my God, I'm so excited for that match. I can't wait to see it. I mean, I was already excited about the chamber matches, but throwing this match on the card, oh my God. This match is going to be insane. I can't wait to see it. This has potential 5-star written all over it. It's probably going to be like 4.5 or so at best, because I think there's going to be a lot of overbooking in this match. I expect the Bloodline to be fully involved. KO could possibly get involved. I don't know. But I think Jey Uso is going to be the ultimate difference maker, if I'm going to be honest with you. I just got this feeling in my gut. So, Michael Bullock, if you're here, let me toss it over to you. Segment of the night. Oh my word, what a segment. And Bullock, can you just imagine what this match is going to be like in 2 weeks when Sammy has the biggest match of his entire professional wrestling career? Forget Ring of Honor and forget up to now. This is the biggest match of whether it's El Generico or Sami Zayn. This is his biggest match. And oh my goodness, I can't wait to see it. Bullock, are you there, or did we lose you? I think we might have lost.
I see Bullock is still here. Mike?
Bullock?
Yeah, looks like.
I don't know if he stepped away or if we lost him, but hopefully we can get him back in and we can get his thoughts on this. But nonetheless, MF, I mean, you and I and Bullock, we've been watching wrestling, since we were kids and all that. And we've been excited for many great matches, looking forward to many matches over the years, regardless of what event or company it is. But MF, I was already, all right, we got Bullock in, but Bullock, before I give it to you, I just want to make this quick point before I give it to Bullock. We've had our excitement about, the chamber matches, because, they always deliver. But this match here, Bullock, imagine this. Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, the biggest match of Sami's career ever. His hometown, in front of his family, his friends, and what have you. And 20,000 at least of his closest friends. I have never been excited for a match. This is the most excited I've been for a world title match in forever.
Yeah, especially with this being in Montreal, this is going to be. Could it be something really good? It will be, but you have to remember, obviously, the wild card, and I agree. I think it's going to be Jey Uso. He's probably. It's probably going to look like maybe he's going to help Sammy, but we all know that he's going to end up betraying him, and of course, sticking with the bloodline. So, yeah, without a doubt, this was the segment of the night. Great job work by everybody here. So, yeah, this could be a very good main event at Elimination Chamber, but we'll wait and see. So, there's really nothing more to say except overall thoughts now.
All right, we're gonna have to speed this up, guys. So out of respect for you, Bullock, I know you're probably gonna have to work or something. So we're gonna start speeding this up a little bit quicker. So I do
might
believe.
Have to head out shortly.
What?
I might have to head out shortly.
All right. Well, we'll speed this up a little bit here. So Anthony, I do believe you. Actually, no, I do believe it's Bullock that leads off. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I thought this was a very good edition of Friday Night SmackDown. There really wasn't anything all that bad about this show. Everything was good. was really good. So I'm gonna give this in the excess of maybe 7.5 to 8. So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say for me except I'm sorry I got to do this, guys, but I got to head out now. So
I understand.
yeah, have a good night, guys.
All right, have a good one, Bullock. 8 to 8.5. Partially disagree with Michael Bullock on that one. I really thought it was a really good show. Like we said, there was really nothing bad. At the end of the day, I thought they did a really good job with it. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 8.5. I 100% agree. I mean, everything. I mean, there wasn't one bad match. All the matches were solid to good to great. The ending angle, the main event angle, that's what put it over the top. And MF, like I said, we have ourselves the potential for the hottest championship match in years. And like I said, I can't contain my excitement. Just get me to Montreal now. That's all I'm saying. So, oh my gosh, it's gonna be insane. So, 8.5 for this. And MF, not much more to say here. Let's get on to AEW Rampage, taped after Dynamite Wednesday night from the Nutter Center, Dayton, Ohio, home of the King of the Ring, 93.
Yeah, so with that said, we do get into that. Started it off with a 6-man tag team fight for the Trios Championship, as it was the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks going up against Ethan Page, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Kennedy. And when it was all said and done, the Young Bucks winning the match. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, the Elite, winning the match in 14 minutes and 45 seconds. Fight of the night, 4 stars, great opener. You expect anytime the Elite is fighting, they're going to give you an absolute amazing performance. There's really nothing more to add here. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Well, this match definitely had some double and triple team moments. It didn't devolve into chaos the way trios matches usually do in AEW. We actually saw people obeying the referee, Rick Knox, and making clean tags for the most part. The match started off relatively tame, but increased in intensity as time went on. Isaiah Cassidy came close to winning toward the end, but the BTE trigger ultimately put him away to give the Elite the win. Fun opener with some creative spots and storytelling. It may not be the most memorable trios bout, but the crowd definitely loved it. So I'm with you. 4 stars for the effort. Fight of the night and MF Wednesday night on Dynamite. The Elite defend those World Trios Championships against Top Flight and AR Fox in what should be another potential banger. So move on.
All right, so just give me 1 second. Next up that we did have on the fight card, was Swerve Strickland versus Brian Pillman Jr. Swerve Strickland wins the match in 8 minutes and 19 seconds. It's yours.
2.5, 2 3/4. One of the better matches Brian Pillman has had in quite some time. It wasn't overly long, but still allowed both men to have some time to shine. Everyone did their job perfectly. And then Dustin Rhodes came in, saved Brian Pillman from a post-match beatdown. 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star for me. So it looks like a Swerve Strickland and Dustin Rhodes match is on the cards for down the line. So not much more to say. So MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, 2.5. Solid. It was all right. Nothing more to say. So with that said, we do move on. It was Saraya and Toni Storm versus the Renegade Sisters. And when it was all said and done, Toni Storm, Saraya winning the match in 5 minutes and 10 seconds. By default, worst fight of the night. But there wasn't anything bad. Just like the WWE Fatal 4-Way Women's match, there wasn't anything bad. It was just the length of time was a little short. I could probably say this was no more than maybe 2 stars. And Anthony, it's yours.
2 stars. I agree. It may not have been very long, but it wasn't quite the squash match we have grown accustomed to on Rampage every week. The Renegades weren't able to do much, but they survived longer than expected. Saraya and Toni Storm spray painted a big letter L on each of their fallen opponents to end the match. So, yeah, about 2.5. And now, MF, we move on to an MF special because this main event, the 2 men involved in this main event, Ring of Honor mainstays and 2 former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champions.
Rush going one-on-one with the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Rush winning the match in 9 minutes and 51 seconds. Yeah, solid main event. I could say this was about maybe 3 stars. I thought they did a really good job. I don't think I thought it could have been a little better in certain areas. Obviously, the interference really didn't help whatsoever. Having Jose, the assistant, and of course having Preston Vance out there, I didn't really like that. I wish they didn't get as involved as they did, but it's all right. Solid main event. Anthony, it's yours.
3.25 stars for me. Second best fight of the night. It was a competitive bout between two skilled performers, but the antics at ringside really took away from the quality a bit. So 3.25 for this. Overall, probably somewhere, I could probably say it was around 6.5 to 7, to be honest. That opener alone, that's what did it. That trios opener was the fight of the night. Main event, solid main event. And then throwing a solid match with Swerve and Bryan Jr. The worst fight was obviously the women's match, but it is what it is. So 6.5 to 7. MF, your overall thoughts, and then we'll get into our preview of NXT Vengeance Day tomorrow night.
Yeah, 6.5. I really got nothing really else to add. I thought it was all right, but really nothing more after that. So let's go into NXT Vengeance Day. That is going to be held tomorrow night from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, on Peacock and the WWE Network, wherever it is around the world. And here we go. So we started off with the first fight of the evening. 2 out of 3 falls. Carmelo Hayes versus Apollo Crews. All right. Anytime you get these 2 out of 3 falls, obviously we're so excited because it is Intercontinental rules. And it's kind of one of those highlights for all of us here. When it's all said and done, man, I want to say Carmelo Hayes, but I really feel like they're going to give this to Apollo. I don't know why, I do. So I think Apollo is going to win the match. Anthony, it's yours.
No, I gotta respectfully disagree with you, MF. I'm going with Carmelo Hayes. This will arguably be the fight of the night, but it's mainly to keep Carmelo Hayes busy until I believe he next challenges for the NXT Championship. Apollo Crews has already faced and lost to Braun Breaker, while Carmelo Hayes is yet to get a singles match for the NXT Championship. Crews is obviously one of the top stars of the brand, but his return was done for 2 reasons. One, to reboot his character, which he has done. And also, the other reason was he was brought back was to assist the stars of tomorrow. And while Apollo more than deserves a title run in NXT, these angles have all been to propel Hayes to the NXT Championship. Trick Williams will be ringside to interfere as usual, despite being afraid of Crews' visions. But no, MF. I got Carmelo Hayes winning this match. And not only does Carmelo win, but I believe he moves another step closer to the NXT Championship. And I'm going to go on the record. Here comes another bold prediction. I believe Carmelo Hayes is going to challenge for the NXT Championship at Stand and Deliver on WrestleMania Saturday.
All right. We'll see. All right. So we got really nothing more to add on that. So next up we do have, actually, that was the only non-title fight that's on the fight card. From here on out, every other match is a championship match. Leading off, we're going to start it off with a big one. The NXT Women's Championship on the line. The champion, Roxanne Perez, putting the title on the line against both members of Toxic Attraction, JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Roxanne Perez has been dealing with Toxic Attraction ever since her NXT debut. She won the NXT Women's Championship from Mandy Rose back on December 13th, leaving Gigi Dolan and JC Jane to their own devices. Both teammates won a battle royale to determine Perez's challenger for Vengeance Day. Throughout the build-up to this match, the potential for Dolan and Jane to turn on each other has also been teased. While Dolan and Jane have done a great job of selling the feud, it's too soon for Perez to lose the title. Expect Jane and Dolan to stop each other from pinning Perez, leading to dissension. In the end, Perez overcomes the bullies at Vengeance Day. Winner and still the NXT Women's Champion. It is Roxanne Perez. MF, your thoughts?
Agreed. I do believe it will be Roxanne Perez successfully defending the title. I really got nothing more to say on that one. So we're just going to move right on along. Next up, it's going to be Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. They go up against Fallon Henley and Kiana James for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. I do believe it's going to be Chance and Carter winning this one. There are some people out there that does believe that James and Fallon Henley's going to win the titles, but I do believe all in all that I do believe it will be Carter and Chance winning it, because the one team that I do believe that's going to be, I think the team that could actually upend them eventually, I think it's going to be Alba Fire and
Isla Dawn.
Isla Dawn. I think it's going to be them. I think they're going to be the ones that's going to finally end the reign. And a bold prediction, stand and deliver. I think that's when the title change is going to happen. So, nope. I do believe that Fallon Henley and Kiana James are not going to coexist. I think that there's going to be too much of a trouble spot there. I just don't see them winning the titles here. Winners and still champions, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. So it's yours, Floyo.
MF, this match was thrown together. This match was thrown together to get the women's tag team titles on the Vengeance Day card. The angle between Kiana James and Fallon Henley has brewed for months, but they won a single match and received this title opportunity. They seem at odds over something every week, but their mutual desire to win gold and their relationship with Brooks Jensen unites the two stars. Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter have take every opportunity to remind the world that they are a real team and are the longest reigning NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. While it would be nice to see a title swap at Vengeance Day, James and Henley don't really deserve a title run after one victory. There's more to unfold around their relationship with Brooks Jensen. Chance and Carter can then move on to the next team to say that they aren't friends or a real team like they are. So I agree. Winners and still the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. It is Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. So with that, MF set me up for the next match.
A fatal four-way for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The champions, the New Day, going up against Gallus, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, Pretty Deadly, and Chase U. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, this is definitely a potential show stealer here. No question about it. And give me a moment here. My thing has froze on me here. So this is okay. Hopefully that fixes it. So hit a little bit of a glitch there. So bear with me for one moment here as I get it back up and running here. Okay, let's see. All right. Did I get it here? Okay. New Day. Okay. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods literally showed up one night to challenge Pretty Deadly. They won the tag team titles during their next appearance back in December at Deadline. Their segments with Pretty Deadly have been entertaining, but it seems like it was likely just to get a pop for one event cycle. Challenging the New Day are Pretty Deadly, Gallus, and Chase U. Chase U qualified for the match this past Tuesday night on the Go Home episode of NXT. Gallus has been presented as a brawling threat to everyone. Pretty Deadly has won the titles twice, so they probably won't win a third time. Kofi and Xavier will likely return to the main roster business with WrestleMania season approaching. While Chase U has the better ongoing story in NXT, Gallus is currently a more believable threat. Winners and new NXT Tag Team Champions, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. Gallus. MF, your thoughts?
Agreed. Going in, I thought it was going to be Gallus. There's a lot of people that would love to see Gallus win it all, and I do believe that is how it's going to be. So, yes, I agree. Gallus wins the title. 2 matches left. First off, we got Wes Lee versus Dijak for the North American Championship. All right. Going into this fight, I know a lot of people are saying maybe Wes Lee wins this, but honestly and truthfully, I don't see it. I think there's going to be a new champion. I think we're going to be crowning a new North American champion, and I think Dijak is going to win the title. I don't know. I just feel like he's got what it takes to get there. So for me, winner and new North American champion, I'm going to say it. I think it's going to be Dijak. So Florio, it's yours.
Wes Lee won the North American title at the end of October at Halloween Havoc. He fended off Tony D'Angelo, but was immediately targeted by a motivated and returning Dijak. On paper, Dijak should easily walk through the smaller Lee, but Lee has proven himself to be extremely resilient. The big man never won a title during his first stint in NXT. That could change in his second tenure. Lee has worked hard to rebuild himself after a tough 2022. Can he keep it going in 2023? Due to a loss on the go-home edition of NXT, don't be surprised if Von Wagner interferes in the match. After the loss, Wagner was challenged by Mr. Stone to show the world who he really is. He could certainly factor into the outcome, but unless they continue Wes Lee's underdog status, I think Dijak could finally win a title in WWE. So MF, I agree. Winner and new NXT North American champion, Dijak. So with that, MF, set me up for the main event.
Main event of the evening for the NXT Championship inside the confines of a 15-foot high steel cage. It is going to be Braun Breaker going one-on-one with Grayson Waller. Anthony, you lead off on the main event.
Vengeance Day is one of the few times where Braun Breaker could feasibly lose the NXT Championship. The steel cage match stipulation allows for the champion to lose the title without even being pinned. With that in mind, Grayson Waller could manage to escape the cage and win the NXT Championship. While it would be nice for a change of pace, it seems like the title change will likely take place at Stand and Deliver. Grayson Waller will pull out all of the stops to finally dethrone Braun Breaker, but may ultimately come up short. Carmelo Hayes has been heavily protected throughout his career. It seems like he and Breaker are destined to face off over the championship. Waller could win at Vengeance Day, but there are not a lot of top-level baby faces to challenge him. So with that, winner and still the NXT champion, it's going to be Braun Breaker. And MF, I believe, bold prediction, Braun Breaker will finally lose the NXT championship at Stand and Deliver to Carmelo Hayes.
All right. I agree. I do believe Braun Breaker should win the match and should successfully defend the title. And that's my prediction. So I got Braun Breaker winning as well. And that's it. We're done for the night, folks. So now a lot of people is wondering, when are we going to do the recap? I'm gunning for Sunday night. Sunday night at 10 o'clock is my kind of vision or idea to try to do. So I might do that. Or I could push it till Wednesday. And we could do that as the first thing. We'll probably start earlier. We'll probably start at 10 o'clock. That's what I'll do. So I'll push it to Wednesday night. And instead of doing the 10:30 start time, we'll do it at 10 o'clock. Oh, actually, no, I can't. No, all right. I stand corrected. Then we'll do it 10 o'clock on Sunday night. With that said, so we'll do it Sunday night, 10 p.m. Right here, Brace Fan 95. We'll recap it. And that's it. So until then, have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you guys on Sunday night.
Goodbye.